whichever direction that car is pointed and those tires grab, that's where you're headed.
Mm-hmm.
And this one here, the one I have, has a lot of, they have front end spoilers, a deck spoiler. It's not like the ACRs. ACRs is the one with the big, huge wing on the back end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they, my gosh, at speed, they produce probably 1,000 pounds of downforce. Those cars will, but mine is somewhere between 400 and 500 pounds of downforce that's put on it, and it's got different track modes.
And the downforce is to keep the wheels on the ground.
Absolutely, because they'll take off. They'll go sailing through the air
Mm-hmm.
if they're not built correctly. And of course, the car is just inches off the ground to begin with, but it's actually turned as a mid-engine car because the engine sits behind the front wheels.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's placed.
Okay.
So, in definition, it's also considered a mid-engine vehicle. But in a lot of ways, it's very crude. They never put automatic transmissions in them or anything. And my car was built specifically to beat the Corvettes. They put different track modes, different shock and spring configurations, different tire compositions. When these Pirelli tires get warm, they stick like glue,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not worth a hoot in a rainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'll get you killed. I've been
Now,
caught out.
what Pirellis do you run on the Viper?
These are Corsa P0s.
Okay.
That's what they are.
Okay.
And they're Z rated,
Mm-hmm.
and like I say, I got caught out in one rainstorm. The car's only been in one rain, and on the highway, it is very. What would the proper word be? It's loose, very loose in the rain.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to be really light on the accelerator and the clutch,
Mm-hmm.
or you can end up in a bad way.
Well, even my little Sky, which is just a 2.0 liter turbocharge, in the rain, it's a roller skate. I mean, it has the Eagle GT tires on it, which are fine.
Mm-hmm.
They're not real sticky. They're kind of a multi-purpose tire, so you can drive it in the rain, but it's a roller skate. It really is. And the Jaguar XE has the Pirellis, but the Cinturanos, which are more of a daily driver type tire. The P0s to me ride hard.
Well, in my car, that's
what you're going to get though.
Yeah, you don't really pay attention to that. And I like to go back a little bit. My brother had a Vet. It was a 70 models, late 70 models, something Vet. And man, it's a status symbol, but it didn't impress me. It really, honestly didn't. And like to say, the last generation Viper, they've got it now where the side pipes weren't so intrusive. You hear the good motor sound, but they didn't bake you while you were trying to drive down the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a nice sound system. Handles very well, of course. It has more creature comforts than the original Vipers had. And you back to the tires. I got 355 in the rear at 19-inch.
Mm-hmm.
And in the front is 18-inch. They're 295
Mm-hmm.
is what they are in the front. But it's nice to hear that. It's basically a 360 engine with two cylinders added to it.
Okay.
Is what it is.
Okay.
It's what it is. And of course, it's all aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a very unique sound of its own. It's got a burbling type sound to it. And it's ready to race right off the showroom floor.
Now, I have to ask you a question. You had the Challenger, then you got the Viper. Did you keep the Challenger?
No, I traded it. They wanted it.
Okay.
They wanted it.
Okay.
And it was a beautiful car. It was red, and of course it had the stripe down the middle of the hood. It had some carbon fiber. The hood was carbon fiber on it, but the Viper has a lot of carbon fiber in it.
Yeah. Well,
and it,
every time I ask my wife, or I start looking at another car, she says, "Okay, if you're going to buy another car, which one are you going to sell?" And I said, "You don't sell them; you just keep buying them."
Well, it's odd you would say that the gentleman that owns this dealership, he turned the dealership over to his sons.
Okay.
But he kept the performance.
You're talking about the Roanoke dealership or the local dealership?
Yes, it's the gentleman that owns it, and he has 2 sons, I believe.
Okay.
And they run the dealership, but he still takes care of the performance side of it.
Okay.
Man, he is into the big old Hemis and these Vipers. He is into them. And the gentleman is probably pushing 80, I guess, by now.
Mm-hmm.
But that hasn't slowed him down a bit. He has a Plymouth Superbird. It's a Hemi, but it's an automatic. It's not the traditional 4-speed.
Okay.
This guy he's all over YouTube. You can type in his name on YouTube and go look at all the stuff he has. He has never sold a car that he has personally owned.
He just keeps buying new.
He has all of them, and he has a big shed that he keeps them in. Yeah, and it's amazing. The guy is a treasure to talk to. He's a walking book of knowledge when it comes to the MOPARs. And I don't know if you've heard of the oil man down in Texas. That's such a Viper enthusiast. He has a huge building similar to what Jay Leno would have. Jay Leno, I think, has 2 big facilities now, if I'm not mistaken. This man, every year, he and his wife, he's in oil. He made his money in the oil industry. They have, I don't know how many Vipers they have. So when he found out that was going to be the end of the run in 2017, he bought his wife a special pink Viper. It's hers and hers alone. And Chrysler had a program where you pick your own color. You come up with your own color and scheme.
Really?
And you own that. That's yours. You have the rights to it. No one else can use it without your permission. Yeah.
So they assigned it, I guess, a unique number for the paint scheme, and then that's yours.
Yes.
Wow.
That's correct.
Very cool.
That's yours. And that's, just to make it a little more unique. And unique, like the stitching in my leather dash and seats and everything. The stitching matches the color of my car, which is kind of unique. The coil springs on the car, they're painted the same color as the car.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It makes it unique. And there were 93 of my particular color made and type, and I've got number 13. Lucky number 13.
Very good.
Yeah.
What's your daily driver, Kevin?
Oh, I drive pickup trucks. I have a Ram, a diesel Ram.
Okay.
And I've been a Chrysler enthusiast for a long time, and I don't care who you talk to. There's good and bad in all of them. They all break down, and they all perform well. But if they didn't break down, there wouldn't be a service department behind that dealership.
That's exactly right. Anything mechanical is going to break. I mean,
sure is.
Back when we were kids, I mean, everybody had their own favorite. I liked GMs when I was a kid, but you had the Mopar guys, you had the Ford guys, and you had the Chrysler guys. You really didn't have any of the Japanese guys, and the German cars were just too expensive for us to afford. And, they'd argue back and forth. FORD, first on race day. No, it means found on road dead.
That's right.
or no, it means an F&O rebuilt Dodge. And you just criticize the other guy's car all the time.
But I've also heard you speak, and it had to do with people flipping you off. And people, I don't know if it's out of envy or jealousy or what it is. I've had some people do me pretty dirty. Trying to cause trouble, trying to pick at me and cause trouble. And
while driving the Viper?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, sure. Yes. Yeah. And they like to light that fuse. But like you've always said, you better watch out because you don't know who is actually in the car and what can happen.
That's exactly
the reaction.
Right. That's exactly right.
I have a lot of good experiences and a lot of bad experiences.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time we have, and if you want to hear a story or not. But,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. When I'm out and about, I always run through my local Chrysler dealership where I buy my daily drivers.
Mm-hmm.
I've bought many, many there, as a matter of fact. We were over there one Sunday afternoon, and we were driving through the lot, looking around, just, at walking speed. And the local police department seen me and
Mm-hmm.
pulled in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, they're just going to question us to find out what's going on here. And we stop, and we're looking at new pickup trucks, and they never approached. And I thought, well, I don't know what's going on here. So I finally got out of the car, and I said, you guys want to talk to me? You guys want to visit me or something? Yeah, we'd like to see your car.
That's very cool.
You're kidding. I said, well, come on over. I said, I'll let you drive it. I said, come on over. There were two of them.
Uh-huh.
And then we got to talking, and I showed them all and said, hey, can we call our boss? Well, I don't mind. Yeah, so they called their lieutenant. The lieutenant came down there to feast his eyes on it. And there was a family driving by in a minivan full of kids.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids were all looking and pointing and talking, and I motioned them over and said, come on over if you want to look at it. And the van kept on going. Well, I kind of figured they seen all those cops surrounding my cars.
Uh-huh.
They probably thought they were looking at a drug bust or something. But yeah, we had the police say, hey,
That's
we want to
very
look
cool.
at your car.
That is very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, there's no shortage of cool cars around, and at least in my lifetime, there still will be plenty of cool cars around, and I'm sure they'll do something with the electrics. It's just, call me an old man, but there's nothing sexy about an electric car. There's nothing nothing sexy about an SUV. I'm not an SUV fan at all. They're practical, they're comfortable, but I call an SUV, I call them a soulless box. There's nothing sexy about them. There's just not.
That's true. And I don't, man, I don't know even know if I should say this or not. I don't mean it in a bad way. I honestly don't. But when's the last time you ever heard, hey, Dad, look at that cool Honda going down the road?
Yeah.
Well, and look at that Toyota. Now, if it's something very old or something, it's going to catch your eye.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like a Triumph motorcycle or something, or like your 51 Jag, something like that.
I saw an old Datsun 240Z going down the road the other day. That was very cool.
Or the old 280s. Yeah.
Well, the 280s were the 240s. There were 240s and 260s and 280s. The 240s were the original ones, and you don't see any of them around here because they all rusted out. Anyone you see around here is from California or Arizona.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, you're right though. You're absolutely right. I mean, sexy cars. The Japanese just don't make their share of sexy cars. They have some. I mean, the GTR, Nissan GTR is a sexy car.
They will flat get it, man.
They will.
They will get it. Yeah.
Honda made a 2-seater. What the heck? Well, the S9000, but then Acura had a rendition of a supercar. I can't think of the name of it though, but it was very cool. The new Toyota Supras, I like those.
Yes.
But you're right. Like nobody talks about the cool Nissan Altima that went down the street. Nobody talks about that.
No. But before we go here, I would like to ask you about your Jags. Where did your dad purchase his, and where did you purchase yours?
He bought his from a guy in Ferguson. He bought it with the intent of restoring it and driving it, but then...
so your dad didn't buy it new?
No, he did not buy it new at all. No, it's
okay.
This car, this car was manufactured in 1951. Dad bought this thing in, I think, 65, something like that.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe your dad was the first owner.
No. Dad basically bought it and didn't do a whole lot with it because Mom was pregnant with my my first brother. I was first of 6, and number 3 was